Yeah.
Well, I think the thing about the X-Files, which is interesting, is that, and difficult for the writers, is that each show had to kind of be movie-worthy. So, you have to have an hour show that sustained what would normally sustain a 2-hour movie. It had to be that interesting. So, when you talk about people being attached to certain shows, well, I get it, because it's a whole story. It's like being attached to a movie in a way.
Hi there. You just stole my question. So, I'm here with the opposite. Do you have an unfavorite show? Like one that you kind of like look back on and cringe and like, ooh.
So an episode that just doesn't do it for you?
Yeah.
None of them.
None of them?
None. Why? What are you saying?
Least favorite.
Which one? What are you saying, dude?
What do you have in mind when you ask that question?
I don't know. You just stole my question, so I just went the opposite.
You tap dancing. You tap dancing.
Good backup question.
I think there was one called Tezos dos Bichos.
The cats. Yeah. The cat episode. Kim directed that, right?
Yeah, that sucked.
Or just any episode without Skinner, right? That's the least favorite.
No, I have to tell you, my favorite episodes are the ones that I'm not in. So I don't know what that says, but. Yeah, but the cat thing. I remember Kim talking about throwing cats against the wall.
Anyway, that one.
Thank you. Hi there.
Hi. My question is for Mr. Fox Mulder himself. We know what Fox Mulder believes about aliens and UFOs. What does David believe?
What? Yeah, so sort of what is your... Yeah, I heard it. What is your personal belief, your take on aliens and UFOs, since obviously we know what your character...
Well, my personal beliefs are private.
There you go.
But I don't believe in them, really.
Aww.
Today.
But you still can. So, there you go. Hello.
Okay, so that was my daughter, and she's one of your major fans.
She used to be.
Well, we believe. We went to Roswell, spent a week. We believe. Okay, so you're a musician, Fox, David. Who are your inspirations?
Who are my musical inspirations?
Yes.
I grew up, I'm fairly old, I grew up loving the Beatles and the Stones and the original British invasion. 70s rock like Tom Petty, Dylan is a huge inspiration. I'd be hard pressed to tell you present day stuff because I am an old fogey, but those are like the seminal sounds that I grew up listening to and that are still just kind of coded into my brain.
Yes, thank you.
How about you, Mitch? What's sort of your musical, since you're a music guy?
Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Stones, Fleetwood Mac, I love a lot of that stuff. Neil Young.
Yeah, Pink Floyd is certainly like an X-File-esque band.
Pink Floyd is my top. I think it's just the genius in any incarnation that they came in.
Yeah. Hi there.
Hi. So I followed the X-Files since its inception, and it kept me sane as a college student in English literature. And so my question has nothing to do with the X-Files, but I want to ask David one question about your book. Can I ask you? So there's a character named Pearl who I think is the way you write her is the best essentialization of a character that I have ever read. Can I read that one line? Do you mind?
Sure.
Okay. She smelled like nothing and no one else. A tainted musk, a head-spinning force field of airless nylon crotch, cabbage, pierogi, and coffee, like perfume spritzed above the place where perfume went to die. So my question to you is Pearl real?
Oh, yeah.
I figured she had to be.
Yeah, she's got to be long, long gone, so it's okay to talk about it. But she was, that was Pearl.
Sounds awesome.
She was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome, but maybe not the best smelling.
Well, you didn't say what her job was. She would look at your ID when you entered the Y. So she sat all day long in a chair as you tried, you show her your ID. So, she didn't get up that much.
Right, okay. Hi there.
Hi, Mitch. I'm a huge Sons of Anarchy fan. Can you share something awesome about working with Kurt Sutter?
So, Sons of Anarchy, can you share something awesome about working with Kurt Sutter?
Kurt was great. He's a very, very good writer, and the show was a lot of fun to work on. And the character was interesting, being a white supremacist meth dealing pimp. So I had quite a trifecta there to work with. At the time that they were doing that I was doing Sons, I was doing a bunch of other stuff, so that there was a lot of times they couldn't bring the character in because I wasn't available. But Kurt, one of the things I like the best about it is the fact that he didn't kill Darby off. Darby's one of the few people still alive in Charming. And now that they're bringing the Mayans back, I was talking to Emilio and I said, "Hey, dude, remember I married a Latina girl, so let's talk to Kurt and see if we can bring Darby back into the scene and play a little bit." But it was, I had a great time. It was a great group of guys. Every time I just saw Theo, and it's always, what's great about these things is that you develop these families. With every show you do, so it's always, when you run into them again, it's always great. And but I was, when I went in and read for Sons, every time I've ever auditioned for a show, if the director or producer says I'm a big fan of you on the X-Files, I know that I'm not going to get the job. And that was one of the few times I walked into the room and Kurt said, "I'm a huge fan of you on the X-Files. I'm a huge Skinner fan." And I said, "Okay, well, I might as well just leave." But fortunately, he did hire me, and I ended up playing the character, and I had a great time doing it.
Awesome. So we can look forward to seeing you on the Mayan stuff?
I'm not saying that.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
He definitely did not say that. Hello.
I got a good question. What is the worst? Which is better, the TV series of X-Files or the movie itself?
So I caught TV version versus movie. What was the first part of the question?
Which is better?
Which is better, the TV universe or the movie universe of the X?
I think the X-Files lends itself more to the small screen. I think it just, and it was successful for so many years on the small screen. But I would say TV. If I was going to answer, David could answer too. No? Okay, fine.
Well, let me ask this. It's interesting when you go back for the revival, and it was 6 episodes, right? So you're really forced to tell tighter stories, shorter season. As actors, is that just so nice and refreshing compared to 22, 24, 26 episode long seasons that had you wrapped up for an entire year?
Well, I think actually 6 was too few. It was, especially after having been gone for so long. But having said that, 23 and 25 is way too many, especially for where we are now in our lives. So I think there's a happy medium somewhere in there. I think we can exist as a movie. I think there are 2-hour stories to tell. I think there are 8-hour stories to tell. I think there are 10-hour stories to tell. I think it's a very adaptable kind of a frame.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that? You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hi.
I would like to ask David if he
A little closer to the mic. Sorry.
Okay, so David, you played Denise in Twin Peaks, who was also an FBI agent. I had to mention that because it's amazing. And I wanted to know if you possibly thought that Denise kind of like inspired Mulder in this FBI sort of sense, kind of like.
I think it'd be more like he inspired Scully, don't you think?
No, well, I mean, he kind of. It's kind of hard to explain because one minute he's like dressed like a woman and the next he's dressed like a dude, so I don't really know which one he really is.
Sounds about right to me.
But what I was asking was about the whole FBI. Do you think that kind of had some inspiration FBI-wise? I'm sorry.
So did the character from Twin Peaks sort of have an inspiration FBI-wise on?
Yes.
No.
Okay, I had to bring some conspiracy in. Because,
Oh, okay.
You know, FBI, Fox Mulder. I just had to.
Yeah. No, you did fine.
You did good.
I'm just trying to answer your question.
I know it's kind of hard. I don't really understand it myself, but I had to bring conspiracy.
You did great.
Yeah.
Well done. Thanks. Hello.
Hi. Y'all were talking about the memorabilia you have. I actually have one of the billboards. A friend of mine worked for a billboard company, and I wound up with one given to me. So it took up a whole wall in my house.
I guess it did. It was a billboard. Yeah, that's wild.
Now my question is, the episode with all the cockroaches. Did y'all really?
Cockroaches.
Sarcophagus?
Yeah, the cockroach one.
Did y'all really have to fool with a lot of live cockroaches? Because that is disgusting.
Well, I grew up in New York City. Cockroaches to me are my friends. I didn't have friends growing up. I had cockroaches. I don't remember. I think we must have. Cockroaches aren't that bad. But there was a moment that Darren Morgan, who wrote the script, had wanted in the show, that was in the show, which is where he wanted a cockroach to walk across the television screen. You know, he wanted it to seem as if you at home had a cockroach walking across your television screen. And I believe they did that. And that was kind of a...
And it worked.
Yeah, okay.
That was very cool, wasn't it?
Thank you.
How's it going? Hey.
Hey.
I was just wondering if you guys have any more plans for any more seasons or maybe another X-Files movie.
That's a big question. I don't know that they can really answer it, but so far nothing's been announced about additional seasons or anything like that.
We're keeping our fingers crossed.
As are we. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Hello.
Hello. So first I would like to say that I really enjoyed the movie Evolution growing up with Adam Jones and Sean William Scott. But also I'd like to have a question for both of you. As X-Files, as you know, explores a lot of unknown, as such with UFOs, is there a conspiracy theory that you two not necessarily believe in but enjoy exploring or entertaining the thought of? And like any conspiracy theory, maybe JFK and etc.
So any conspiracy theories that you personally tend to like or entertain? It wouldn't be that much of a conspiracy if they start talking about it on stage, but...
It's all yours.
I generally don't. I generally look for a human explanation. My father wrote a play that was on Broadway in 1967 called The Trial of Lee Harvey Oswald, so he was obviously very interested in the Kennedy assassination. I think, to be honest with you, I think we're in a very dangerous moment in our country's history because we have a lot of fake news out there, a lot of fake conspiracies. And I think as much fun as it is to talk about conspiracies and to embrace them, I think, especially right now, we should all be actually looking for an actual truth rather than a fantastical explanation for things.
There's so many lies and so much disinformation and like David said, fake news. It's hard to disseminate what is true and what is false and what is. I mean, it's like journalism these days is just through the toilet.
Trump has made conspiracies a lot less fun.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Well, sort of on another note, so much of the revival there's lots of little Valentines, little calls out to the other seasons. But you also had the Curse of the Weremonster, right, where you were dealing with big fans of the show, including Reese Darby and Kumail Nanjiani. Was it kind of humbling to be acting with these people that were also so inspired by the work you did, or do you kind of have to set that aside and just be like, all right, we got to get to work?
No, I'd say, especially with Kumail, he actually was almost crying when he first met David and Chris and myself because he was so excited. He's such a huge fan, and it's so charming and endearing and sweet to listen to him talk about the show and how much he loves it and how big a fan he is. And And so for these guys to be able to come on to the show and work on it and almost have a dream fulfilled for themselves, I thought I dug it. I was so happy to meet them and their enthusiasm.
It was interesting for sure. I would think it'd be maybe more difficult for them to kind of believe that they're existing in a world where it seems that they've thought about for so long. But there were moments when I was working with them where I would think, gee, I wonder if I'm as good a molder as they wanted. Is this the molder that they were thinking about for so long? Was that great molder I'm giving them right now? I don't know. Is that good enough? I don't know.
In between takes, was that moldery enough?
Was that good for you?
Was that good for you? Did you know that Kamal did the podcast before you started working with him?
I've been alerted to that fact. Yeah.
Hi, this question is for Mitch Pileggi. I was just wondering, what was it like raising the world's most amazing daughter?
Ladies and gentlemen, my daughter. It's awesome. Honey, you've been the best thing in my life. I love you so much. Now sit down.
That question could have gone in a really bad direction because she knows the real dirt, doesn't she?
She knows everything, man.
Hi there.
I don't know how I follow that, but I just wanted to, if you guys could talk briefly about some of your memories of some of the Jerry Morgan episodes, specifically Jose Chung's From Outer Space.
I don't think Darren ever wrote for me, so that's going to have to be David's answer.
That's one Charles Nelson Riley? Yeah, right?
No, that was the one with Alex Trebek and Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, but Charles Nelson Riley was in that one as well,
Yes, I mean, look, to be honest with you, you get a Darren script and it's kind of like it exists as a script on the page. It's already really interesting and really great and really funny. But you wonder, is it going to translate into on its feet? Because he writes very literarily. That's not a word. But
close.
Yeah, it's close to a word. It has a couple words in it. So there's a certain kind of tension because you want it to be as good as it reads, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be, or it can be even. It's a very strange thing. So there's probably more pressure when I get a Darren script to try to make it as good as it reads. And in some ways, to try to make something as good as you think it can be is the surefire way to make sure that it sucks. So it's a very weird position to be in. It's like, I want this to be one of the great ones. Don't know exactly how to do it. Jose Chung, don't really recall that much from working on it. I grew up in the 70s. Charles Nelson Riley was always on game shows. I was personally like, like fan. What is it? Fanboying? Charles Nelson Riley. So I remember that. I don't know. I feel like I answered the question.
I was open-ended question. Could you still do the scream? Remember that episode where the scream you saw the body? I know I can't request it, but if it was requested, could you feel like you could still do it?
I'd have to look at it first.
Oh, okay.
It might not be in my range anymore.
Everybody sort of has their own idea of what X-Files is, what it should be, and when you're dealing with writers who approach the show, or even, like media, press or whatever, when the revival was coming up, I know a lot of people were focusing on social media, on technology and everything. But when somebody kind of focuses on that, or focuses too much on the conspiracy, are they getting wrong? Are they getting sort of X-Files wrong instead of focusing on humans and the human story and the fact that, like, to some degree, humans don't change?
It's a good question, but I don't think you can get it wrong. I think one of the things that works about the X-Files is that it has all these different avenues within it, so that you can look at it as a soap opera, whatever's going on with Mulder and Scully and their love life and their kid or whatever happens, or you can look at it as a procedural, what happened in this particular case, or you can look at it as the overarching conspiracy, what's happening between aliens and humans and all that crap. So none of those things delegitimize the other things. It's just actually what makes the show very interesting is it has all those different ways of getting into it, I guess.
Hello?
Hi. If I didn't do this, I would never forget myself. So I have a question at the end of this. But I know I'm just another fan, but I can't help feeling that I could love this secret agent man. I can't wait anymore for you to discover me. I've got it bad for David Duchovny. So my question is, David Duchovny, why won't you love me?
Well, who says that I don't? Now, can you come back and sing it? No, you're not going to sing it? Thank you.
Hello. I hope you have a poem for Mitch now, because otherwise it's going to get really awkward.
Well, sorry, I don't. It's a question
What rhymes with Mitch?
Sure, I'm used to it.
I love you though, Mitch. Okay, hey Mitch, hey David, I love you, my dude. My question was, what's the weirdest or most memorable fan encounter you've ever had, and what was it?
Oh, God.
I had a girl who used to follow me around to conventions who was a contortionist, and she used to dress up as Skinner. With a full bald cap, with the hair on the sides, and glasses, a full suit, and then I'd be up on the stage doing a panel like this, and I'd look back and I'd see Skinner, a female version of Skinner, standing there with her legs straight up over her head. So she would come to a lot of the conventions that I would do, and I finally brought her up on stage. I said, "Get it out of your system, everybody, check her out. Look what she's got going here."
It was me.
But that was very interesting.
That sounds like a perfect one-person off-Broadway show.
I think that's what she was going for.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's wild. I didn't know that. That's good.
No contortionist Fox Mulders or anything?
No, sadly.
Oh, okay. Well, I love you anyway. Thank you.
Thank you.
There will be now, though. That message will be small.
One can dream.
Hi.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Good, how you doing?
Fantastic.
Good.
Actually, I had the pleasure of meeting Mitch about a century ago at an X-Files convention, so that was kind of cool. Unfortunately, David, you didn't make an appearance. It was heartbreaking. I'm making up for it today, though.
Are you a contortionist?
No.
Okay.
I'm too old for that
Okay.
shit, all right? But my question specifically for David, now that you've kind of dabbled in all these things, television, movies, you're a novelist, now a musician, maybe in the future there might be kind of like a one-man show, travel around the U.S., do a little tour, because you're damn funny, dude. I think it would rock.
Yeah, would you want to take to stage, I don't know, do you have like a story for the stage, a one-man show or something?
I've never really thought of that, but sounds like fun.
He could do it too. This dude's funny, smart.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, let's figure it out.
Yeah, let's work on this.
Yeah, let's work on it. And I'll start working on my flexibility too, just in case I need to do something.
Yeah, get back in practice, dude. Love you guys.
Thank you. I think we only have time for 2 more questions, if we could keep it really short. Hi.
Yes, this is for David. I know you probably can't tell us about the new Twin Peaks, if you're in it or not, but can you tell us about your time working on the original Twin Peaks, and did you get to work with David Lynch at all? And is Mitch in the new Twin Peaks?
Is Mitch what?
In the new Twin Peaks.
Are you?
That we can say no on that.
I can talk about the old Twin Peaks. I am gonna be in the new one, but those guys are serious with their they say shut the fuck up. So I'm gonna abide by that. But the old one was interesting because I hadn't really done much work as an actor at that point. It was like the 3rd or 4th job that I would have gotten. And interestingly, Mark Frost, who was running the show, had written the part for James Spader, who was his good friend of this transvestite drug enforcement agent. And James has got some other job, and it came open, and they just threw it open to auditioning young actors. I came in, and somehow I got it. I don't know. I can't imagine I don't know how I got it, but I got it. And Yeah, I just remember I nared my legs. I don't know if you know what nair is, but it's not good stuff at all. But it's very effective, having said that. And wore the pantyhose and got an immediate understanding of what it's like to dress as a woman, and it's no fun because you're made to feel fat as soon as you put those pantyhose on. And then we just shot the scenes. David didn't direct any of the episodes that I was in, but he did direct this last iteration that I did, and it was a great, it was really one of the great, like, stretching kind of roles that I was able to do as a young actor, and I was really excited about being able to play this strange transvestite.
Looking forward to seeing Denise again.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing Denise again.
Yeah, Denise. Yeah, she's aged, but she's in there, still swinging.
Thank you. And unfortunately, final question. Hi.
Hi. So first of all, I love you both so much. And secondly, my question is, what is the greatest prank that anyone has ever played on the set of The X-Files? And that's for both of you.
Oh man, some of them, there were a lot of X-rated pranks that I'm reluctant to talk about. But David liked to pull his pants down a lot and run around all the hallways of the FBI.
That's true. That is true. Usually when I'm running, I like to pull them down and then fall. But I think the best prank that I was able to pull was just this last one where Jillian, who's a terrible, terrible driver, she had a car accident with nothing. I mean, like, the world was empty. There was nothing on the street. I was so relaxed. And she hit something hard, backing up into it. So we had a little whiplash. And did you know that? At Riverview, there's nothing there. She hit the nothing that was there. Hard.
Jillian is a horrible driver. Horrible driver.
But she thinks she's good. That's the hard part. So please don't tell her we said this.
Your secret's safe with me.
Okay, so I was fine, but I heard she had her neck was hurting her a little. So I was in hair and makeup the next day, and I said, it'd be funny. It's like the nurse. Does the medic have any, like, a neck brace for me? So we got the neck brace, and I just showed up on set in this neck brace and didn't say anything, and I was just kind of hanging by the monitor, waiting for her to see, the damage that she'd done to me. And it took like a few minutes, for her to, like, see what was going on over the monitor, and she really almost collapsed in fear and shame and sympathy. So I counted that as a good prank.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, unfortunately, we are out of time. However, go see these guys.